There's a lot of money, actually. But the question is, the people, 11 offenders that have been apprehended before, what has been the prosecution? Is it? You can't tell me, at least with this kind of person, the way he's looking, with the kind of car he's riding, definitely, most likely, he's working for somebody.
Yeah.
He's working for a week. He's working for a political party. And the people working, should he, or in this election, or in this particular route, that's questions. Who are you working for? Because he's working for the second he's working for big are the people that we should now.
This arrest issue. But I mean, sure, he has to show about the security agencies because why? Yes, it's a good thing.
Men of the
it's a good thing it was nabbed. Yeah. But then we've seen people talk about how money is. How did those money get? The only person nabbed out of the 18 companies did fly and he transferred. The bank's not having enough money to spend around when you go to the bank, not the amount you want to go withdraw. POS said, complain.
What happened to intelligence at this point? The person supporting, we're monitoring the election at the radio end, especially, and of course at the TV end as well. At the weekend said, when you get in like 2 days, most of the big towns in Ondo State, the POS operators were not having money. Everything has been mopped up.
Exactly.
And so what happened to intelligence when these things were being done? It's only when young people said they want to protest against SARS or they want to protest against government ineptitude that you see intelligence reports. Because this is what they do.
Yeah.
Really, you should know. Somebody that has been withdrawing funds in the kind of amount, you trace them, and sometimes you make it look like it's a rocket science. And it's not because they don't know. It looks like most likely everybody's just looking away. This is what is happening. You look away. There was a case in that first clip, if actually you can have it, in which somebody was speaking in the local dialect to say, was, beckoning to a policewoman to say, please, madam, stand up. And the other policemen around, there is a car they are parked with strange-looking people. Can you please stand up? Can you please stand up? And the person was looking like, who is this one that is talking like this? Less than a minute, there were gunshots. The sound of gunshots rented the air, and everybody was scampering for safety.
Including
and the guy
the
was
police
running.
officers.
Yeah, including the officers. And by the way, I looked at that particular woman. She wasn't carrying anything. Actually,
I don't think they're allowed to carry.
I'm just saying.
Arms to the
but maybe they could have done more. They could have called for reinforcement.
Yes.
A Tundra car was parked on the road with funny-looking people. One of the electorates that were there was beckoning to the security person to say, some persons are there. And it's unusual. Can you please even stand up and make some calls? Maybe they will be blocked at the front or at the back. The woman was just there like, what are you saying? And all of a sudden, poke, poke, poke is the next thing we are hearing. And everybody is running. Is this really the proponents of democracy? Is this really what they brought it for Nigeria? Actually, how would they be turning in their graves right now? Because this is what we are seeing, And these are some of the things we learned, Lekon Akindoju is with us again. Lekon, can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay, you are going to land on your thought about everything that we are saying, especially the ones that we have played. Please go ahead.
Yes, so of course it's if you look at the margin of victory, it's an embarrassing one. Actually, it's not something that we did not expect that kind of margin. We expected a victory for Aiyedatiwa, but it was not the kind of margin that we saw. And it's not the margin that we've seen in an election in Ondo State since 1999. So, and it's really something that really people need to talk about. Because if you look at the elections in 2020, where the battle was really between Akeredolu, Agbola, and Jegede, if you put together the votes that Jegede and Agbola got, it was about the same size of the winner. But now, if you put together all of this, the votes the APC candidate got in this election, the percentage is over 70%. And that's huge. That's really, really huge. So, but you need to also talk to the political parties. When we're speaking to the PDP, it was agitated, and he was speaking about vote buying. And we asked him a question. It was not the APC alone who bought votes. Yeah. It's possible that, of course, your party also bought votes, but it was fixated on the amount that was used to buy votes. So, and those are the discussions that we've started having now. We need to get to a point where elections are not cash and carry. And that's what we've continued to see for a long time now.
Those are the issues as well. And Comrade, good to have you back with us.
Thank you for having me.
All right. I'm sure you saw a clip before that disconnection. Clips, rather, you know, somebody that was beckoning at the police to please intervene because some funny-looking guys were around, and the officers there didn't do anything. The sound of gunshots rented the air, and of course, an individual that was nabbed with, you know, loads of money in his boot. And of course, people speaking freely to the press, you know, saying it among themselves publicly, the audacity to say, yes, we collected money. Yes, people are sharing money. Yes, these are the issues. This party is sharing 5,000. This party is sharing 10,000 naira. And, you know, before it used to be some people will be winking at you or giving you signs to come to a corner or be behind the cubicle so that you could collect your money. But this particular one, it happened in Edo as well, but not as brazenly done with what happened 2 days ago. It was so open, and the security agencies, either they are looking away or they are part of the cahoot. What do you think happened? And is this the kind of democracy that we have evolved to, or our own kind of democracy?
Well, you know, when the people starts a thing, they get emboldened by it in the course of time. What you today call vote buying become rampant, become audacious in 2016 during the election of Oluwarotimi Akeredolu. That's where that slogan, the Boko Sebe, that's where it came from. So if it started audaciously with people of Ondo State in 2016, you can only expect by law of nature that it will become more emboldened by that act. The truth is, just like Ekon said, democracy in Nigeria today has become transactional. What we are practicing today is transactional democracy. The buying and selling thing. There is a willing buyer and there is a willing seller. So most of the time, it's not about the conviction of the people about who can list them. It's not about the conviction of the people about the policies and programs of one party against the other. It is about who can be more brazen, who can be more audacious in buying and selling votes. So the question is not the APC won because they bought votes. No, they probably won because they offered the highest amount of money for votes. Maybe, just maybe if APP had offered 15,000 or 20,000 for votes, maybe an Agboola Ajayi would be dancing this money. But the news has it that while the PDP was buying for between 3,000 to 5,000, APC was buying for 10,000. So the question we should ask ourselves is, if you multiply about 300,000 votes garnered by Lucky Aiyedatiwa by an average of 10,000 naira, where did that money come from? Did he sell his house? Did he take a loan from the bank? Is he members of the political party that contributed that money? That money definitely is from the covers of government, taken under whatever guise. So you expect a person that invested not to get to reward on his investment. So when people begin to cry, in quotes now, I hope they don't, but it's becoming obvious that they might. If they begin to cry in the next 1 year to argue that they are not seeing dividends of democracy, I will be one of those who will be quick to remind them that you hate your dividend of democracy the day you collected 10,000 naira to vote.
Comrade, please permit me to come in here. Sorry, because
are also becoming complacent. Would involve the agencies.
Comrade, if you permit me to just come in here because of the want of time. Now, this has been established that this was what, you know, heralded that particular day, and the big spenders, or the battle of the spenders who can spend one another. But then we saw that the issue of violence was on a low, maybe one or two skirmishes, and it's a sharp departure from what we'll have seen, what we used to see 4 years ago, 8 years ago. Some will say that counts for something. And the INEC in all of these, when we say they are not the ones spending money, they don't have the scope to arrest the spenders of the money All they have to do is mobilize their ad hoc staff, the real staff, every community to do what they have to do. And to a large extent, we learned some of these things were done, maybe a couple of places as well, for late commencement of election and all of those things as well. Let me ask you, comrade, and I take it as your parting shot before we go to Lekon. The issue of vote buying that people have been discussing, and same thing we are doing this morning, will you say is enough to cast aspersion on the entire process, either to say it is fair and credible or it is not fair and credible? Is it enough to be a taint or a stain on the entire process?
Look, election like war. In war and election, everything seems to be fair. So the fact that people bought and sold votes to determine who the eventual winner would be in an election is fair. But it takes away credibility of the process. And what makes election and governance awesome is the credibility that comes with the process therefrom. So if there is fairness in the process, because nobody was maimed, nobody was killed, no ballot boxes were not hijacked, nobody was slapped, thugs are not having a swell day and what have you. If all of that makes the election fair, it at the same time takes away the credibility of the process.
All right.
And if the process is not credible, you cannot have dividends of democracy, you cannot have good governance.
All right.
So as much as we are saying, oh, thuggery and maiming and killing is gradually becoming a thing of the past in our electoral procedures, the unfortunate is that the credibility of our election is becoming fast eroded. And that is not giving credibility to whoever leads us going forward.
All right. Thank you. Lekon, we'll take this as a parting shot as well. The situation rooms, KDI, Yaga Africa, many observers on ground that you've met, that you've spoken to, what's the assessment of this election?
Yeah, so the assessment of these civil society organizations and observer groups are really not different from what people like myself, who are journalists who are on the ground, will talk to you about. And of course, they have also spoken about the fact that INEC has improved. INEC got better with this election compared to what happened in Edo.
Okay, so much for technology. But I want to sincerely thank the gentlemen who are sons of the soil. By the way, Comrade Ayologun and, of course, Lekon Akindoju, our own senior reporter and correspondent at that election. Thank you, gentlemen, if you can hear us. All right, we'll go from this end. Interesting take to know there is a process, but either we are moving, and the question is, where are we moving to? Is it the right direction? Is it retrogression? Are we taking 2 steps ahead and taking 3 steps backward? Movement without motion, that is not much of a progress. But then trust us to always do what we have to do in this particular case. When Lekon returns, and many of our people will still get to talk about this matter and set the agenda. Some have been said before, but the way forward for the government of Mr. Lucky Orimison Ayedatiwa. Wish him and the good people of the Sunshine State all the best. These will be the size of the program today. Femi Ojo is my name. Lashamanji, you could have a recap of this program on our own YouTube channel at Western Spring Television. Share, like, subscribe, and you will get to be informed, educated, and entertained as well. I'll see you tomorrow. God bless Nigeria. Evening.
And my name is Evelyn Ohiola. Stay tuned for Spring Trends coming right after this broadcast. Bye.
I am Josh Too Funny. I'm a comedian and I like to make people laugh.
Fly up.
But it's not funny that we're losing our unique gorillas. We only have around 100 left and they are threatened by herbivores and traps set for bushmeat. So please say no to illegal bushmeat, because protecting nature protects us all.
Arrested, affected, sound, found. What do we see? What do we say? Flowing from a spring. A fact A to Z. Check and confirm. Ever expounding current events. Traveling down from the business gist to the globally arising happenings, to the sports news, to the bittersweet infos. Guided transmission, even diffusion, vast and fast. Waves across borders are fired. Stories short and long, wrap the bundles of words, broken and dissected as it is, except misheard. This is the news as it is.
Prince Royal Tintin at Raba Village, Sokoto, northwestern Nigeria. His father was a district head and heir apparent to the planet throne from the house of Sumudafudo, a police and social reformer who brought the Harba dynasty under the Fulani Caliphate in the beginning of the 19th century. Ahmadu Bello raised the bar of political consciousness and participation when, in 1944, he engineered the establishment of the Northern People's Congress (NPC) as the first political party in northern Nigeria and the rallying point for politicians in the region before independence. History will not forget Ahmadu Bello for his charisma and political sagacity, which provided easy passage for his kinsmen to assume political and administrative positions in Nigeria's post-independence era. The distinguished elder statesman and Sardauna of Sokoto has his face on his country's 200 naira currency as a mark of honor to one of the architects of Nigeria's independence. Western Spring Television identifies Ahmadu Bello as a watershed character in history.
Turn it up! It's the Wild Wild West. And Western Spring Television is pulling out all the stops to make sure that you don't miss out on every of the fun and happenings around you. Yup, we've got you covered because your girl got all the juiciest tidbits and entertainment news from around the world. Cross over to the chocolatey side of entertainment. Join me, Chocolate Cassie, on Eccentric as we take you into every bit of the juiciest news, fashion, music, movie updates, and other trending conversations. Together on the show, we'll get personal with your favorite celebrities via phone call, Zoom, or even live here in the studio. Eccentric will be shown on your TV screen on Western Spring Television, channel 190, only on StarTimes.
Fewer than 400 elephants are surviving in this country today, and they're still being poached for their ivory. Elephants can be a major draw for our tourism if we protect them. So please tell your family and friends, report all wildlife crimes, and stop sale of ivory, because protecting nature protects all of us.
Can you imagine the feeling when you get your news as the break with facts and clarity? Our news are reported as it is.
In Africa, and all those who masterminded the way it happened, we have to pay a price.
Enjoy Western programs, projecting culture and tradition to the world. Brought to you as the break and recapped every hour for your update.
Fellow Nigerians, how to improve your welfare is of paramount importance to me.
Produced and brought to you in a unique way never before seen.
Western Spring
and Western Spring Television. Television is coming home in your color and culture.
It's a beautiful new week. People, welcome on board as Spring Trends right here on Western Spring Television. It's Monday, and we're grateful to God for life. My name is Evelyn Ohiola, and what we do on the show is speak to issues trending basically on social media. What is trending, who is trending, and we get to take reactions. You know, I do not do this alone. Femi Ojo is right here. Good morning, Femi. Welcome on board.
Thank you very much. Good to be here. This week starting edition
amazing.
of the program. I greet you.
All right, let's get right to it, shall we? And we're going to launch this very first story with a video of what went down in Ondo State on Saturday. The state has a new elected governor, to take on the responsibility for the next 4 years, and that's the incumbent, who is actually the governor of the state at this time, Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa. Let's watch this video of how vote buying and also other things were done in the state during the elections.
Your name, ma'am? My name is Yemi Shaibu, women leader issue in Radio World.
Let's talk about this election. How has it been?
This election, afternoon, I like her. As then they do this election today. No fight, no anything. Everybody votes. Nobody fights today. I like this election. Pass the one where they vote.
Before that, they always fight. Today, people like say something changed.
Today now, everything's okay. No fight, no anything.
We come here say some people buy votes like 10,000, 15, 20,000. How much some party they sell?
Today now 5,000 then pay for this show. All people now 5,000 naira. Nobody say boya na 10
blue or yellow party or everybody.
Now 5,000 then bring come today. Both party.
That's woman leader of a major party in Ondo State who said they were paid 5,000 naira each for their votes, and that video was actually done by one of our correspondents who was live at Ondo State, at the weekend. Shout out to the guys who went there, our senior reporters, by the way, Lekon Akindoju and Joseph Atewe. And let's take reaction about this story. And bad governance at Owen Don Oil says pointers that Nigeria is very far from getting better. See how she's even looking. How is she looking, Don Oil? But then ACIT says at Ola_Rome says Lobaton. And what's the English version translation for Lobaton?
Stephanie.
Finished, Abby. Okay, oh yeah. And Ray at Sheung Oba 007 says that's where your subsidy removal money was spent. APC intentionally injected hunger on the land so that they can buy votes as usual. By the way, it was not only the All Progressives Congress that bought votes. We also saw videos and also heard of other political parties who actually brought money to the polling units and, paid the people for their ballot. Ola Daniel Ogedengbe says, why can't they collect it and vote their conscience? And I think that's the question I'm going to ask them on the set this morning. Why can't they collect this money and still vote their conscience?
You're asking me?
Yeah.
Person who collect money still get conscience.
I don't know.
If you chop dodo, you might not be able to show dodo. That's the popular one around. But then it's a sad reality that is what has become of us. Your politicians, are just talking off camera, how politicians have masked that. There was a report, in fact, many reports from the dailies, how politicians are masterminding, perfecting their strategy on how to spend. And that's exactly what happened. Okay. It's, money. How much is money? It's the battle of the spenders, the big spenders. And maybe those ones that doesn't have the money or they can't, but people that have conscience that voted for them, they are the ones having 2,140, 1,140, 4,000 something. I'm not insinuating anything, but the jury is out. This is not about somebody. Everybody spend. So while you are spending 5,000, some persons are spending 10,000 and all of those things. And you can even see the voter apathy there. And maybe the few people that were able to come out are the ones that were promised or drawn out with the fact that, okay, we won't go and some will not beat us only. We have something to fall back with. Politicians will call it welfare. They will call it something for the water. But you know it's vote buying, which is illegal by our laws. That's not the way it is done. But then that is what, sadly, the electioneering process has been reduced to.
Okay.
And it's what we are saying. If you can pay, maybe that's why we are having less of violence. You don't have to shoot, you don't have to kill anybody when actually you can pay them. And there are willing sellers. The economy has thrown many persons into the kind of situation that will make it hard.
For any crimes, they are willing to sell their birthright.
You sure for you? 5K? If I cast them and no collect, these people will do what they want to do. So why no kuku cast them and kuku collect money? And these are the ways it is done.
All right, and
it is sad reality. But it happen.
It is.
And politicians will lift hands and say, "Oh, the glory must be to the Lord." And somebody say, "Alhamdulillah."
They are humans and they have, right to their own beliefs.
After they have done what they've did.
I mean, God, I don't think God will cast them away. He's a loving Father.
Now you be secretary to God.
By the way, these are the same people that collect money and sell their votes are the same ones that will talk ill of Brother Esau. How dare you?
Do you know, because of food, have you?
Yes.
Say so go sell in birthright.
Do you know how rich that pottage was? Do you know?
By the way, without you watering down that situation of the Bible, the thing is in the next 1 month, 6 months, 4 months, 1 year from now, the same people will be saying, well, now I see our road. The same people will say, no doctors in the hospital.
Yeah.
You complain about your children not having teachers.
Yeah.
You don't collect money.
You already sold that.
You collect money.
Let's move on to the next story this morning. And of course, that's the story of our president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, conferring the national honor of the Grand Commander of the Order of Niger, GCON, on the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who visited Nigeria recently. And of course, both leaders were able to talk on some bilateral ties and, how Nigeria and India can do business together going forward, how we can continue to enrich our relationship, strengthen our ties. Let's see how people reacted to this story, to this development. And the president actually stated that the honor was to signify the country's appreciation of India as Nigeria's partner. And Otumba of Lagos says, why am I here thinking that this Nigerian government are trying to borrow money from India? That wicked laugh emoji, wicked laugh emoji is there. And RX Rukaya Bauchi says, GCON, isn't that reserved for only President and VP of Nigeria? No, the President actually gets GCFR, the VP gets GCON. Mohib Sika says, while the President and Vice President fly out of the country for summits every time, in return they host others to confer them GCON for personal interest. Nigeria, we hail thee. And Mansour Umar Abub 1 says, but why? This is the second highest title in the country. Femi, what do you think? By the way, there are people that believe that some of our citizens also get honored in other countries. They are given, titles. It might not be, yes, in the US, in the UK, there are, people that, get such honors and awards, national awards in different countries. But it seems we have an issue with it, or people have an issue with it, because it's coming from Mr. President, and Mr. President at this time might be unpopular, especially with the common man, and anything and everything he does is questioned. And also, number two is the ties. People want to know what has exchanged and what is it we are doing with India.
What does that mean?
What is it we are doing with India? Yes. What is it?
Baba will collect Kobe to give award. Wait now.
So what do you think, by the way?
Well, let's start from you said Nigerians who are appreciated, awarded, knighted across the world. That is it. But when they are being knighted, when they stand, let's say for England, stand before the Queen or the King to pay their obeisance, and then they are given that night thing, and then you do all of those things. They would read what you have done for them. They will give you something because you're a big businessman in Nigeria, and then you come to UK to come and be knighted. No.
Yeah.
When you're given a word, they will reel out your contribution, to that particular place, or to the people of that place, or to the people of that place where you are. There must be something you have done. The question that Nigerians are asking is, what has Narendra Modi done for Nigeria?
We're showing our appreciation.
For what?
In advance.
For what will he do? Maybe you know something that I don't. DSS,
I do not know anything. I don't know anything.
But then these are the issues as well. It's not just about giving it to outsiders, because Narendra Modi show here in Nigeria. Okay. Oga, to show you, say we appreciate you. Bagans, you have been given the GCON. They better have a good explanation. Actually, they better have a good one. What is his contribution? Even if actually India, because we understand Narendra Modi's visit, he came with some hopes, and then we had bilateral talks and all those things signed, memorandums here and there. Let those things be carried out, and then we can do what we are supposed to do. Nigerians are not averse to you giving it to anybody. Even here, when you give it to Nigerians, they will tell you the contributions, either in the neighborhood, or philanthropic acts, or research, or some of the things. We don't know how it was given. Give us an explanation. That's all. I think for me that suffices. What has Narendra Modi done for Nigerians in India? Or what has he done to us as a nation, for us as a nation? And we are good. But if their explanation is not there.
All right, so let's move on to the next and final story this morning. And this is coming from, the former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, speaking to the administration, speaking about the administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, saying Nigeria under Emilio Khan. And of course, you remember that that particular word, Emilio Khan, used by our president now, Bola Tinubu, in Ogun State, where he was still going all about campaigning and trying to solicit support from different people. He used it as, this is my time to be president. And President Olusegun Obasanjo is saying the Nigeria under his time is sinking into chaos, insecurity, corruption. Let's see how people are taking this. Let's feel the pulse of Nigerians on the statement made by former President Olusegun Obasanjo, who has labeled Nigeria a failing state, citing widespread corruption and leadership failures under President Bola Tinubu. At RMND22 says, former President Olusegun Obasanjo does not hold back, calling Nigeria a failing state under President Bola Tinubu, citing chaos, insecurity, and corruption. Tough words for tough times. And Legend_Marvis says, so what's the way forward? I've been now until everybody sink. And that's the question Legend_Marvis is asking. Big Danny says, very true, 100%. But Obasanjo had the chance to change the country. What did he do in his time? And Izu says, Obasanjo was not perfect, but at least it wasn't as clueless, lifeless, and oh God, that's big.
Now you be this one.
That's big. That's from Izu on X. I mean, those words are big. And it says, I hope T-Bag supporters are enjoying the Nigeria they wished for by choosing religion and ethnicity over competence. And Away says Obasanjo is right. Tinubu's policies have worsened corruption, insecurity, and hardship. Instead of progress, Nigeria is sinking deeper into chaos under his leadership. Your thoughts very quickly.
I think to start with, Obasanjo, when he was in government as well, wasn't infallible. His words were not infallible. That doesn't mean he doesn't have his flaws. He had his flaws. That is third-time agenda thing, say hanging on his head till tomorrow. Although he has denied it, many persons will say, you can't tell me that. Your father said it. Obasanjo cannot look me in the face and say he didn't try to come, to be president for the third time. And, one thing that he has been known for, by the way, is the fact that he speaks his mind. And even while he was in power, either for the good cause or for the bad cause, he stays and he goes for whatever he believes in. That's one thing. And by the way, with all his flaws, it's not just about, even while his own people, the PDP were in power, whatever he seems, these days he has not even been writing letters like that. He has been talking. And these are the issues as well. But What is Obasanjo saying that is not true? That's the question for the government handlers and their supporters as well.
So we should
show me one thing that he's saying
and focus on the message.
What is Obasanjo saying that is a lie? Let them show us.
All right, that's the question for people out there to answer, and that's the show for today. Thank you for being a part of our world. We'll make a return tomorrow for another interesting time on Spring Trend. Special thanks to Femi Ojo for always doing this with me every morning, and to you, our esteemed viewers, thank you for joining us. We'll make a return tomorrow. Like I said earlier, my name is Evelyn Ohiola. Have yourself a good and productive Monday. Bye.
Turn it up! It's the Wild Wild West, and Western Spring Television is pulling out all the stops to make sure that you don't miss out on every of the fun and happenings around you. Yup, we've got you covered because your girl got all the juiciest tidbits and entertainment news from around the world. Cross over to the chocolatey side of entertainment. Join me, Chocolate Cassie, on Eccentric as we take you into every bit of the juiciest news, fashion, music, movie updates, and other trending conversations. Together on the show, we'll get personal with your favorite celebrities via phone call, Zoom, or even live here in the studio. Eccentric will be shown on your TV screen on Western Spring Television, channel 190, only on StarTimes.
Here are 5 amazing fun facts I bet you never knew about Christianity.
Number 1, there are over 2.4 billion Christians worldwide.
Amazing fun fact number 2. The Bible is one of the best-selling books of all time, with more than 100 million copies sold every year.
Most Christians believe in heaven and hell.
The Bible is the most translated book in the world, with more than 3,000 languages.
Amazing fun fact number 5. Most Christians throw science out of the window without realizing that most scientists are Christians. Hello, I am Pastor Steve Akinwumi.
And I am Dr. Adeoye Oyewole.
Join us as we highlight and discuss day-to-day issues pertaining to the day-to-day living of every Christian.
Issues in Christendom shows every Sunday on Western Spring Television, channel 190, only on StarTimes.
Evelyn Ohiole, King Eve, how are you today?
I'm good, I'm fine, I'm alive.
I really feel like she's not giving the right answer to the question. When one asks you, how are you? And you said, you're saying, I'm alive. It's very annoying, seriously. how are you? I'm fine. I feel I'm fine will be the right answer instead of I'm alive. Not that I asked you if you're dead before.
Go and check all these 14-year-old, 15-year-old, 16-year-old, everybody, they are extraordinarily sexually active.
I feel is being unnecessarily hyper when it comes to the issue of sex, because we talk about other topics and he feels so reserved. He really doesn't have anything much to say when it comes to other stuff. But when it's the issue of sex, I believe he's being unnecessarily hyper. That's when I have to pick an issue with him. I mean, it's just being unnecessarily there when we're talking about sex. Just like a child, his mom just got him his favorite chocolate or ice cream, very happy, doing as though if he doesn't have sex for a day, he's going to die.
When it comes to finance, women also support their husbands financially. You need me emotionally. You need me spiritually.
Cassie is an amazing person, but I hate the too much attachment to that gender. I need you spiritually, I need you mentally. I can get these things anywhere with money. If you go by the topic was, who does marriage favors the most? I know how many jobless women they marry every Saturday. They are saying it favors you, favor. Are they vague so?
Growing up, when I was in the world, we've heard of.
Who are you now?
Well, MC Too Much said he likes saying when I was in the world, and the last time I checked, but it looks a bit innocent, facially, but deep down, is actually out of this world. We're all in the world now. As long as you're alive, you're in the world. So MC Too Much, I beg you, talk about that. I don't want to hear that. Next time you talk about, I kiss my ass.
I think I have a problem with you saying ladies are champion, and that's the problem. Always trying to attach too much importance to that gender.
It's giving insecurity, it's giving low self-esteem, it's giving a blatant display of egoism, because at the end of the day, a man who is secured in his word, a man who is confident of who he is, will not really be disturbed as to whether women are being referred to as champions or not. I mean, at the end of the day, Joseph's a really great guy, but whether he likes it or not, women are champions.